trillions are waiting on the sideline with the president's POTUS crypto bill, EO, and the new CHIPS Act, which is going to be waiting to be signed by the president early September, and the review of the bill will be carried out early September. So we should be starting to see things get going from there on. So I guess the question is, when can we expect these trillions to start flowing? Well, you know, we really need to dive into how that's coming about, and we need to have a look at the reports from Forbes and see what they're saying. So without further ado, Nathan, the report from Forbes. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Nathan. So, White House could have crypto advisor thanks to new bill. This post is from Jason Brent on the Forbes. So this is a Forbes article. It's done back in July 29, 2022. As I said, I wanted to cover this. So it just goes on about how Terra Luna's $60 billion crash had caused a massive loss of 3,207 jobs, namely over Coinbase, Gemini, Blockchain.com and OpenSea. And talks about, however, despite this, there are jobs going because really the new semiconductor bill called the CHIPS Act of 2022 was passed in the House of Senate and they want it to become law after the president gets the bill on his desk to sign, and that should be early September, and I believe that will pass through Congressman Darren Soto. And it goes on about in the section 1067(1) of the bill, Director of Office of Science, Technology Policies. So OSTP is directed to establish or designate a blockchain and cryptocurrencies advisory specialist position within the office to coordinate federal activities and advise the president on matters of research and developments relating to blockchain, cryptocurrencies and distributed ledger technologies. So it's clear, I can't see why the president wouldn't sign this. It's required. Blockchains are becoming big. The massive Terra Luna issue problem there, 100%. Meanwhile, the White House OSTP already has assignments to complete on the blockchain and cryptocurrency technology thanks to Biden's executive order EO 1046-7 on the responsible development of digital assets signed in March 2022. EO 1046-7 requires 2 separate reports on cryptocurrencies and blockchain to be submitted no later than September the 5th, 2022. The first report from the OSTP is required to cover the connections between distributed ledger technology and short, medium and long-term economical and energy transitions. The potential for these technologies to impede or advance efforts to tackle climate change at home and abroad, and the impacts these technologies have on the environment. On March the 25th, 2022, the OSTP issued a request for information to the public asking for inputs to help shape this report. The second report requires the OSTP to work with the Chief Technology Officer of the United States to complete a technical evaluation of the technological infrastructure, capacity and expertise that would be necessary at relevant agencies to facilitate and support the introduction of a CBDC. Now I'm going to jump back to real quickly the BOE CBDC and iOS 200 in 2022, but I'm just going to read on quickly so you got an idea of the CBDC system should be proposed. So I think America are going to have this CBDC system, and eventually I think this is going to come into effect early next year, probably around April, as the iOS 200 2022 system comes into play. I read on. EO 14067 also requires that the report includes and evaluates to address the technical risk of various designs, including with respect to emerging and future technological developments such as quantum computing. So they've got all of this in hand, and these are coming to foot. The advisor's going to be there by law through the CHIPS Act, advising the president all the way step by step on this is happening at this point in time. Quantum computing is now able to do this. How is this going to affect blockchain, and how can we make this work? If we've got a grasp on it, how can we make it work with ISO 200 in 2022? Right? So that's basically what this report's about. And again, thanks Jason Brent, that was a good read there. Do read it through, but I'm going to jump back to the real-time gross settlement. Nathan. That's great, thanks again Nathan. So real quick, UK central bank digital currencies. So what is a central bank digital currency? How is it different to cryptocurrencies? How might a UK central bank digital currency work? Why is the Bank of England considering CBDCs? Will the Bank of England introduce a CBDC? Who is the Bank of England engaging with CBDCs? So let's look. How is it different to cryptocurrency? A CBDC is different from cryptocurrency, also known as a crypto assets. Cryptocurrencies are not issued by a central bank. These privately issued digital asset currencies include Bitcoin, Ether and XRP. The value of the crypto asset can move up and down very quickly. They are a risky investment, and anyone buying them should be prepared for a loss of money. If we produced a UK central bank digital currency, that would not happen. Our currency would be reliable and reliant and retain its value over time. How might UK central banks digital currency work? We already produce digital currencies of banks and some other financial institutions to use. These are known as reserves, but we would produce a digital currency that everyone could use. If we issued a UK digital currency, it would be in denominations of pound sterling. For example, £10 of UK digital currency would also be worth the same as £10. No, you would be able to use it to pay for things digitally. For example, you could transfer an amount of it to make a payment to someone. CBDCs is sometimes thought as equivalent to digital banknotes, although in some respects it may have as much in common with the bank deposit. What is Bank of England considering as a CBDC? We are considering a central bank digital currency because the way people are choosing to pay for things is changing. Financial technology fintech firms have started to offer new forms of money and new ways to pay. People are using cashless. These changes mean new opportunities and risks that we need to plan for. So you can see clearly what CBDCs are, what the Bank of England stance is. They're going to be working with the Treasury. They're going to set up a central bank digital currency task force. This is all that's happening in the UK, and from this you could probably see that this is what they'll be doing in the United States too. So anyway, if you want to read this is on the Bank of England's website. Do give it a read. It's quite informative and you'll get a good insight as to what's going on there. Nathan, back over to you.
Great, thanks for that, Nathan. So you could see from the President's bill, EO, and the new act introduced, so the President will legally require a crypto advisor. CHIPS, the semiconductor bill, CHIPS. It's inevitable that the United States will be using crypto for the new banking system. Question is, will they be introducing a CBDC? It's likely. And we've seen what a CBDC could look like from the explanation from the Bank of England. If there was to be a CBDC, this is what it would look like. Now, what you have to realize is there may not be a CBDC for the US, for the UK. There may not be any need. Will it help the transition and interoperability of funds from commercial institutes, from government institutes across the globe? Yes, of course, CBDCs will help facilitate this a lot easier because you'll be able to use them domestically. So, I think it's clear that trillions will flow in, whether or not they're CBDCs. We know for certain ISO 200 in 2022 is here and it's staying, and it's going to be in full effect as of next year, where you could be sure, at least to begin with, $20 trillion in Nostra Vostra accounts will flow through the ISO 200 2022 payment system, and will most likely be using wholesale settlements with digital ledgers like Stellar XLM, like XRP, real-time gross settlements with distributed ledger technology. I'm Nathan, aka Nathan of Zion. Smash the Zion coin up there and check out the next video. Not sure what it's going to be on yet, but you could sure it might be on something interesting. See you in the next one. Have a great day.